you want to read an air dodge against Mewtwo, you got to be like frame perfect to hit him. So I'm really struggling to see what Wii Fit can come up with in this matchup, but John Numbers definitely going to be the guy to show me.
I feel like a lot of what John's advantage in this matchup could possibly be is based on his combo game outside of the ledge play. Now, he's not particularly known for his combo game through Wii Fit Trainer, but he has a very adept control over the character and is capable of bringing the opponent from one side of the ledge to the other, going right into it for Town and City, and immediately WaDi trying to push him to the ledge, but of course this is where John wants to be.
Exactly. Not very well known for his combo game, but very well known for his ledge game. So I think we're going to see John Numbers take the slow route to this match, heal as much as possible, the Sun Salutations, of course, but I think WaDi's fine with that, because that just means more time for him to charge up his Shadow Ball.
Yeah, both of these players are very patient, and they've exhibited plenty of that just tonight alone. To see them clash against each other is... I've got a feeling we're going to be in here for the long haul with this set.
Yeah, I actually wouldn't be surprised by that either, unless somehow WaDi just gets a big lead and snowballs the momentum into something huge. Let's see, though. Weak up air, but not going to translate into anything further for WaDi. And here we go. John Numbers hanging out on the edge. Oh, actually comes back on. If he had gotten the second hit of neutral air there, we could have seen like a 20-30 damage combo. But unfortunately, WaDi dropped out of it, and John has to earn his damage the hard way.
Now opting for the platform instead of the ledge, I don't particularly agree with that, and I think John realizes that that's not the best idea, because once you put yourself in the air, WaDi could really space you out with forward air, and considering the percentages and small blast zones of Town and City, that's a very dangerous situation to be in, more so than having to already force himself to the ledge as he's most comfortable with.
Yeah, I still think it is smart to go onto the platform just because he doesn't have to suffer the lack of invincibility upon grabbing the edge. You know, it resets it. So he can kind of alternate platform ledge as he pleases. And unfortunately for Mewtwo, hitting the edge with Shadow Ball is very difficult, especially against a character like Wii Fit, whose ledge hurt box is almost non-existent. Only her hands hang on to that edge. So we'll see how he's able to adapt. John Numbers really working this one back, all of a sudden in the lead after kind of a rough start.
Yeah, that snipe from down deep with the header managed to net a considerable amount of stage control for John, and while he's not really going to push that too far, this is not a percentage lead that WaDi can be comfortable with. These numbers can be healed very easily, and John can play this at a tie for all he wants to.
Yeah, one more Sun Salutation, and it is a tie for all intents and purposes. I mean, so much more kill power, though, on Mewtwo's end, at least in terms of practical moves. There we go. Not even any sparks from the game. We're just going to see a straight-up death from the up throw. WaDi taking the first stock of the set, and that's already 2.5 minutes into the game. We see some matches only last 2.5 minutes, but this is just a stock. They're just getting started here.
John right now managing to space with a back air and clean up that stock on WaDi, having only a credit of 5% throughout that. And as we've already mentioned, that's nothing compared to the healing that can be done with Sun Salutation and deep breathing.
And that was a lightning fast reaction too from John Numbers. Noticing that he got hit on the back of his shield. All right, snap, just gonna jump out of shield, back air, close it out. And wow, actually getting some air combos on WaDi. A lot. I feel like he didn't even try to air dodge, but maybe he was expecting that John would read his air dodge too. Of course, also John with no shortage of Mewtwo experience. We've got Frozen to kill Sage, secondarying Mewtwo, and Freelancer Leo, who is the most prolific Mewtwo main in the city. And look at that, man. That's a seasoned competitor right there with this character. He knew the timing for the ungrounding of the jab, which isn't even like completely up to him.
No,
WaDi gets the influence when he breaks out, so he's like, all right, I know when you're gonna mash it or you're gonna break out if you're mashing like the average amount.
We're seeing the immediate switch to Rob for this next game, and moving into Smashville. This is a very interesting choice, just because depending on John's playstyle, which we know is going to be oriented towards the ledge, if he manages to steal the gyro from WaDi and just hold it, that's a lot of space that WaDi can't control anymore. He's going to have to rely heavily on Laser Beam.
See, that's your inner villager talking right there, because I didn't even think about that. That is definitely a huge point, especially because John is almost exclusively going to be using special moves. Oh, here we go. He's just going to use it. He doesn't even care. He's like, dude, I got a game. Like, who cares? Just going to play with the gyro. And wow, I wonder if John even has that in his mind, or if this is just like a Hangman exclusive right now.
Getting the reverse spike out of the header, and the pressure's on for WaDi now. The fear is in him. He knows that that gyro can be taken away from him at any point. And John not really exhibiting the amount of control that he's capable of, still going in deep. Catches up to him with the super hoops.
No fear whatsoever of WaDi off the stage. I mean, Rob is kind of a sitting duck when he has to up B. Granted, he can swing, but John sees no reason to respect it. Like, what, is he going to take a forward air or something? Like, not a big deal. I think this is WaDi's logic in switching to Rob, is that he can spike John from the edge a little bit more easily, wider hitbox on Rob's down air, as opposed to Mewtwo's and relatively same speed. Mewtwo's a little faster, I think, but it's just not panning out. John is the master of this game. This game being the ledge minigame.
Yeah, honestly, it's funny because typically we look at keeping your opponent at the ledge constantly as a very strong advantage state, because you have the entire stage to run around, you have all the time in the world to do what you want to, but this is where John is comfortable. He's spending more time in the blast zone than he is with his feet on the ground.
Right. Oh, and of course, another side of WaDi's rationale for switching to Rob is that the gyro does go at a down forward angle and it can hit ledge-bound opponents. So Mewtwo definitely struggles to do that with Shadow Ball, whereas it's going to be a little bit easier, but still, man, it's just like such an even match at this point. That almost killed him. It's going to come down to who can land the nice, clean hit to close out the stock. Oh, and it's going to be WaDi actually poking through the stage, probably, just backing up his idea for picking Rob.
We're seeing a ton of these power shields out from John now. The pressure's on for him to make some sort of change here. He manages to get the berry off the gentleman's and opts for the forward smash.
Yeah, he didn't wait for him to pop out that time, and that's why you saw 148% on WaDi after a Wii Fit forward smash, which is, by the way, extremely strong. All of her smash attacks and a ton of knockback with or without deep breathing.
So now here we sit in early percentages for both players. John's got the top. He keeps on opting for the upwards toss, and I like that because if he's not going to hold on to it himself, he wants to make sure it's on the stage, it's live, but it's out of WaDi's control, so he can't respawn it, he can't easily get it back.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I see people do that with Diddy Kong's banana as well, just so they can't respawn another one, but they also have no access to it, and John almost getting something big started off that neutral air. You want to land that move into the ground with both hits, and then, or actually, you can even get one hit into like up smash and stuff. But yeah, neutral air into the ground, Wii Fit's prime combo starter. Oh, no gyro available. That's like the Keitaro with Diddy Kong when he tries to pluck a banana, but there's already one on the stage. Is that it? No. John Numbers keen to the DI on the beat boop combo from Rob. Of course, down throw up air, his bread and butter.
Yeah, John doesn't want to deal with the stress of dying out early, or else the set could really have an impact on how well he's carrying through. But he's sitting at 100%, and WaDi not really putting in too much effort to the approaches. He's going to have to watch out for if John gets these explosive combos on him, as we've already seen what can happen in just this game if John manages to get on top of WaDi and he doesn't have the tools to get rid of him.
Oh, actually using Rob's reflector. And yeah, man, against big body characters like Rob, I feel like Wii Fit's combo game is actually kind of disgusting. You get that nair up air, and that's like 40 damage, man. We'll see how this is going to close out. John Numbers closing the gap here, even without hitting WaDi, of course, just by healing with Sun Salutation and deep breathing. He wanted to dunk this man.
Oh, no tech. Is he alive?
He's living, yeah. Oh, no,
he's not.
Wow. John Numbers failing to recover from underneath the stage is fairly rare. You know, I usually see him tech that, and of course, just given the playstyle that he employs, this guy's always ready with that trigger every single time. So to see him miss a tech, very rare, but WaDi's going to even up the set with Rob. I like the pick, but on the other hand, I kind of don't, just because Rob is way more comboable than Mewtwo, slower moving, can't close the distance as well. But I mean, he can play this John Numbers minigame a little bit better than Mewtwo in some regards.
Yeah, and I feel that in game 2, it was really just sort of WaDi catching John when he wasn't expecting what was going on, as opposed to outright outplaying him. The projectile game being as neutered as can be expected against Wii Fit Trainer, and WaDi playing things very patient. He was just waiting for those key openings, and John really not having an answer for very simple situations that he would normally be expected to come out of scot-free.
Also, back to the whole edge thing, of course, I mean, it's going to be a very important point throughout the set, but I just remembered that Wii Fit kind of does pull-ups on the edge, so she doesn't always have that low-profile ledge hitbox where it's just her hands hanging. She actually can put her head at risk. I'm quite sure her hitbox shifts when she does that. So if WaDi's really looking to like play this extra patiently and John's going to hang on the edge without invincibility, that's his time to strike, which is just so strange, right? You wait for her to do a pull-up, but that's the kind of thing that Wii Fit brings to the table in Smash 4.
It's funny, there's a lot of aspects of this character that base themselves out of rhythm. For instance, super hoops need to be pressed in a rhythmic fashion instead of just mashing.
Right, and of course deep breathing, probably the most notable, and it changes up too, depending on how many times you've used it, and wow, he didn't even need to do that. WaDi saying, hey man, I made the right switch on this character, and you're going to need to rethink your ledge game. John Numbers now fighting on the stage, it seems. Also, he knows that he can't reclaim this lead from just hanging on the edge.
Yeah, he's going to have to be much more proactive here in Game 3 if he's going to take things back, because WaDi only at 50%. This is quite the lead. Like, in the grand scheme of things, he's punishing John for playing his game while also not really committing too hard to any of these options. We haven't seen him really do much outside of zone with gyro, keep Nair as a getaway tool, and keep on running back and forth, forcing John onto the stage for any type of assault.
Yeah, man. At first, I wasn't so hot on the pick. I was like, okay, I see the logic here, but now I am very impressed with WaDi's decision to go Rob, and it's working out. Wow, that almost ended real badly.
That was so close to hunting him down. John wanted it so bad, but the header ball falling ever so slightly.
John trying to get a little crafty there with his recovery. Go up and around WaDi, but he was ready for it. WaDi's just like, screw it, man. I know I can close out the set with this. Or I mean, the game.
He's got to make magic happen right now. We see John trying to mix up his recovery a little bit. He's seeming to figure out ways around WaDi's projectile pressure, but WaDi turns up the heat. It could be too little too late for John Numbers.
Also, I swear I just saw her get hit out of the pull-up in the head. Just the little things in Smash, man. Gotta love it. WaDi, though, this lead not so little. And is that going to do it? Yes, it will. Even with the proper DI, John Numbers knew which way to go, but it didn't matter. WaDi two-stocking this man. And John, always such an eccentric guy, right?
Very. He's incredibly animated. If you ever pay attention to the player cams that he's involved with, he's either counting out the sets, he's emulating the animations. Yeah. He's a pleasure to watch.
Is he going to do it? Is he going to do the 4?
Oh, I love when he counts the sets. It's so funny.
Oh, no, he's just showing some love to the crowd. And yeah, no 4. So maybe that just means John Numbers is hyper-focused on this and knows that he's at risk of losing here. Maybe he really only does that kind of stuff when he's very comfortable. Unable to connect, though, with the up throw to up air. It's not a true combo, I believe, but it works most of the time. However, the Smash Bros. Platform looked like it had something to do with that, too. All right, gonna catch the gyro, but he just throws it right back at WaDi. I feel like after the set, someone should go tell him, like, hey, man, if you just steal that gyro and camp on the edge with your specials, that really hampers Rob's ability to do anything. And of course, you can Z-drop and catch with an aerial to really fight with your full moveset available to you and not just the B moves.
Considering how well John manages to move around off of a single full hop, I feel like the Z-dropping could really put a big impact onto John's approaches to WaDi while he has gyro in control. Because WaDi's been putting in so much work with the gyro after these past couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, when you fight an item character, one thing that's really important is how good is your own item game? Because you can kind of turn one of their most valuable tools into a hindrance for them if you're really good with it. Most of the time, they'll still be better at using their stuff, but, I mean, still, if you can create a threat to Rob with his gyro, that's going to discourage him from using the gyro, at least to some degree. Oh, man, and WaDi not discouraged from using that reflector. I guess he either read a projectile or didn't think John Numbers was just going to shield the whole thing there.
So John now opting for the platform, and like you mentioned earlier, the platforms are solid for John as far as camping goes because it's going to allow him to not really worry about the loss of invincibility while still having all of his resources available to him. but Smashville platform really not working too much in John's favor right now, constantly moving itself towards WaDi, and WaDi positioning himself on the opposite side of the field so that he has that full stage advantage to zone Numbers out from.
All right, and closes out the first stock with back air. John Numbers showing some signs of life, saying, I'm not ready to go down in this game at least. Though WaDi's Rob has been doing quite well since it entered the fray here. Let's see if John Numbers has something left in the tank for him. Just going to charge up that Sun Salutation, make WaDi chase him. Of course, being stock down, he's got to be the initiator here.
And now John is more comfortable to play his own game, rushing to the ledge every chance he gets. Though, it appears now that he's approaching with dash grab a little bit more on WaDi to try and punish out some of these shield approaches, force him to play the projectile game where he needs to, and show that Numbers is able to play through grabs when possible, but he's going to have to play with a little bit less of a lead now, or a powerful down air. It's going to be setting WaDi with a little bit less of a hill to climb.
Yeah, that wide hitbox on Rob's down air is really coming in clutch for WaDi, in especially preventing John Numbers from camping the edge, but even just recovering. I mean, she is wide open from the top, and really what makes her recovery tricky to edge guard is when you challenge her from the side, and also she can kind of weave in and out, but that's not too much of a factor when you have such a large horizontal hitbox.
WaDi just getting opened up by that Sun Salutation now, and the percentages are beginning to climb to the point where Numbers can go in for the kill if he needs to. One solid combo or a heavy read could lead us into a Game 5 situation.
Yeah, if we see him ground WaDi again into the up smash as he pops out, man, that's definitely curtains at 97. We've hit one of the strongest up smashes in the game, but, I mean, that is a risk in itself. Can he do it? No, he doesn't time it right. John Numbers, man, master of timing, Nintendo World Champion. Cross that off your commentary bingo. Okay, WaDi starting to get something going here, maybe.
But power shields are denying the zoning privilege, and a back air is going to be leading us into Game 5. John looking a bit more recentered now. And WaDi now on the verge of getting pressed into the losers bracket.
Yeah, I feel like because of John Numbers' very campy playstyle, you don't often see the crowd on his side, but this is New York versus outside turf. So I think everyone, regardless of Long Island and New York City, wants to see John Numbers win here, except maybe WaDi's carpool and a couple dedicated fans in the audience. So here we are, Game 5 of what is definitely proving to be one of the longest sets in Smash 4 that I've ever seen.
And we're going to be moving on to Battlefield for the finale of this set. And finally, WaDi has a chance to give us a stage where he has full advantage on.
Right, yes, Rob hasn't gotten a counter pick since, I want to say, Game 2 of this set. WaDi's still up 2-1 in terms of his Rob's record against the Sweet Fit trainer. So it'd be a shame to see him go down here with, you know, for all intents and purposes, a 2-2 record between them. But, I mean, he did indeed choose Mewtwo. That is his best character. All things considered, of course. In this matchup, it's definitely Rob, I'd say. He's been doing a lot better. But I don't know, man. How's it going to play out is the question. We're going to have to wait a little bit to see, just because these guys are playing it nice and slow. But that's what you have to do in a matchup like this. Wow, how much damage was that?
That was intense, and almost getting the Sun Salutation read too. John is just playing the entire stage to his advantage. Normally we see him opt right for the ledge play, but when it comes to Battlefield, he's a bit more comfortable with going for
oh, he's living though.
The top saving John.
That was nutty. I can't believe that I actually just saw that happen.
Got to be careful about where you're putting those items. It really could come to bite you. Now, WaDi smacking himself for presenting John with a second lease on life, and the lead inadvertently, sitting with 94% on his first stock. It's time for the ledge game.
I can't believe that killed cross stage, especially on a character that's pretty heavy like Rob. Is he going to get it? No, John Numbers going for the early air dodge. All right, WaDi really kind of pressed to make something happen here. He's going for all these spikes, but John Numbers is ready.
We see the forward throw just to set John off stage, try and give WaDi a bit more breathing room and figure out how he's going to approach the situation, because John's starting to get wise to these down air covers.
Yeah, and you can see WaDi kind of scrambling now to figure out something to hit him with. Wow, again, huge damage off the neutral air strings.
It's worth noting that both times we've seen this explosive combo come from John Numbers, he's had the deep breathing buff to him.
And yes, up throw on the platform.
This is why Battlefield was the pick for WaDi. He has these platforms to extend these throw combos. He has a lot of room that he can cover through laser beam and gyro. But John is very much used to being brought to this stage, and he has his own tips and tricks for how to get through it.
Of course, I would not have killed at 12%, but still worth a gaff just because of the mental damage it would do. It would make John Numbers feel even less safe on the edge, but I don't know. Do you think he still feels the need to play there with a 60% lead? Probably, just because he doesn't want to let it go.
This is John Numbers we're talking about.
Yeah.
He could have a 5-stock lead. He will still go for the ledge.
Uh-oh, gets on stage unsafely. Oh, and WaDi looking for that air dodge.
John using the super hoops to try and put out some more pressure on the platforms. Rather unorthodox, even for his own style of play, but nonetheless, he still has the percentage lead, and he's forcing WaDi to play this game of cat and mouse with him. He could afford to go for those odd options.
Yeah, John Numbers is the epitome of unorthodox in Smash 4, man. You want to just like even break it down to his character choice, but he is definitely going to need to do something here just to close this match out, or maybe not. Maybe he's just going to chill. He has the time on his side, he has healing, but I feel like he's digging deep now. He's actually starting to just engage WaDi. He wants to close this out. He's got deep breathing. He can kill him.
But it's not going to happen just yet.
Oh, man. WaDi closing the gap a little bit. Only 40% down here, and we know Rob has some kill power. Oh, wow, he fell out of the jab combo.
The percentages are too high. He's not going to be able to get that Burying Gentleman's just yet. 2 minutes in counting, sitting on the clock right now. John Numbers with 78%, and he's trying to go for this kill, putting out constant pressure, just ghosting WaDi as he's moving around in shield. This defensive play is starting to come to a close as both of these players looking a bit antsy. The forward throw is set for the offstage play, and up tilt on the header ball just to cover a bit more space. John has his chance again.
Oh, does he have gas? Oh, still does, and he kills him with the up air off of the ledge tech.
And John Numbers closing it out over WaDi. 3-2. That is a reverse 3.
Yes. No.